Welcome to another episode of Shopping for the Real You. I'm Andrea Flummer, and although you know that I write about fashion and beauty, everybody understands that beauty has to come from the inside, not only our emotional well-being, but our physical well-being. If you're not healthy, you it's like putting ornaments on something that's just kind of not doing so well. So this is why I keep inviting my wonderful friend Agneta Sundberg to come and join us and talk about wellness. And since we're in the season of giving, our topic today is called the gift of wellness. And she's going to be talking about some of the things that we can do, not only with essential oils, but with a lot of things that can help boost our immunity, make us feel better, and be wonderful things to share with other people that we love. But because Agneta has a tremendous broad background in not only um, uh, she's a yoga instructor, but she has a great background in wellness and health training. So I'm going to have her start with one of the procedures that we did the last time that people absolutely loved. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Agneta, um, can you give us a little warm up exercise or procedure that you do to help us sort of get centered and calm down? Because I think we could all use that right now.
I love it. And I think that we could, and it's always a good time to bring our energies into our body. As you well put it, Andrea, health, wellness comes from inside, and we always have to start from that point. So let's together, I invite us all to just softly close our eyes. And wherever we're sitting, if possible, place your feet on the ground so that you can really feel the soles of your feet, even if you're like I do, I'm wearing slippers. And from here, simply take a nice breath in through the nose, if that feels okay, rather than the mouth. A slow, nice, soft inhale. And when you're ready to exhale, let the shoulders just drop. And a couple of more breaths just like that. Nice slow inhale through the nose, and this time along with the shoulders, let the jaw and the juncture between the upper and lower jaw soften so much that you separate your lips and your row of teeth. And the next time you breathe in, adding those two, and in addition, sensing the soles of your feet touching the ground. So just two more breaths like that. Nice soft breath in through the nose. And when you're ready, in your own time, to exhale fully, let the face, the jaw, the palate, the shoulders soften, relax, and release as your feet touches the ground with a little more slight weight and grounding. And next time you're ready to breathe in, lean in to the seat. So however, wherever you're sitting, just let the back body, the back of the shoulders, all the way through the mid back and through the lower back and the hips settle in. So the back body is touching the chair, the part where you're sitting, and then allowing the hips along with the feet getting into that sense of grounding. That is the job of the lower body, to keep us rooted and grounded. And from here, we can just explore another breath. We're simply breathing in the same way through the nose, but just allow from the waistline. Your upper body as if you could literally be something that's stretching up toward the light. If you have that control, just imagine yourself lengthening all the way through the spinal column, up through the shoulders and the back of the neck, and even slightly through the very top, the crown of your head, and up toward that empty space above your head. And with the next inhale, adding yet another layer to kind of tie it together. So now just imagine that you could breathe from that empty space above your head, just above the crown of your head. And with the breath, you're drawing it all the way in through the throat, the chest, the diaphragm, and into the belly. And this time, as you're inhaling through the belly, sense and feel how you're ballooning out the belly, making it a little bigger than it typically is. Waiting for that cue, the natural cue to exhale and empty out. And then imagine that you could physically exhale out through the hips, the pelvis, your legs, and back through the feet and into the ground. And completing with just softly letting your hands rest on your abdomen. So placing your hands on your belly. And when you're ready to take another inhalation, just let the inhale balloon out, make the belly a little bigger again. And with that sensitive touch, soft touch over your hands, when you exhale, just follow the exhale as you empty out and notice how the navel just naturally draws back toward the spine. Twice more like that. Soft, slow, long inhale through the nose. And follow the exhale as the belly softens back toward the body and back toward the spine. And just one more time. Expanding and opening up all those nerve endings, all that stuff that resides in the belly that can need a little extra stretch and openness. And when you're ready to exhale, just make this exhale really soft and exaggerate the length so that you get all the air out. And then release your arms by your side and let a little bit of air in. So instead of opening up your eyes fully, just open them up a little bit as if you're not quite sure. Taking that inventory from the sensory system and the light. And then gradually open your eyes fully. And just notice for a moment as you open your eyes fully what it feels like to be home, what it feels like to be in the body and embodied. And sometimes how easy it can be to breathe ourselves back home, literally. And here we are. Welcome.
That was beautiful. I love that. And I love one thing you said about taking inventory from the sensory system. I think a lot of people are just not aware on a day-to-day basis what's going on in their body until it manifests in some, more powerful symptom that has to be addressed. And so doing this kind of exercise, I think, is really, really valuable for people to become embodied.
I couldn't agree more. Good point.
So this leads me to, it's a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about today, about the gift of wellness, especially during this season. It's the season of giving. And we're always the last person that we give to, and I think a lot of people get really burned out this year because we're all, quarantined again. The burnout is not so much that we're racing around trying to get gifts and give things, but that there's a lot of inner tension of how to share with other people while they're, the walls feel like they're closing in again. But, it's like when you get on an airplane and they say, in the event of a loss of oxygen, put your own oxygen mask on first before you put it on your kids. So I would love to talk a little bit about the gift that we give ourselves during this holiday season. So, what kind of wellness can we give ourselves before we think about the things that we might be able to give to other people in terms of wellness?
In terms of wellness, that is more of what we just did. I would say that that is the starting point, beginning from the inside, when we often can begin to feel and sense and tap into our intuition. What actually do I need right now? And that can be just that first impetus and invitation to be more in tune to what it is that really could be helpful. And I find that the baseline is like we're fertilizing something, getting back to the abdomen, to the belly, to our digestive system. The fire in the belly is literally like a furnace that is promoting our digestive system so that we can take in the nutrients and absorb them into our cells. We can eat good things, and it may not be that we can absorb them, which is one of the reasons, in addition to I'll get back to on that thread, because in addition, it is all the toxins that we're exposed to at this day and age, even if we do our best to live a clean life and even eat organic food. And on those two aspects, helping our body to absorb nutrition better and to enhance what we are already are doing that are good habits. I find that supplements are a real help to create a baseline and a foundation for other good things that we do health-wise. I
No,
highly recommend a supplement line that I personally use and recommend the others, and to our family as well, that I've seen help a lot with energy, with digestion. People often have better, you can notice that with your bowel movements and how sleep and energy, particularly in the later part of the day, and that is lifelong vitality supplements. Then when we add another layer of the essential oils for specific whatever we may personally need, like a little bit more to support of the anti-inflammatory system.
right.
That is something that at this particular time, not to forget to boost our immune system. And all that can be enhanced and more deeply received with the door opener of supplements. So in other words, the essential oils can be absorbed and kind of augment, if you will, what we create as a foundation. And last, on that note, just topping it off with the emotional body, our emotional system that is so heavily taxed at this time. I want to take all this on an up note, so not go down that road, but we really, really need the support for our emotions at this time. We need each other, we need connection, and to help and to stimulate the connection to ourselves we can really do through these botanicals that are such humble healers and helpers, simply by putting a couple of drops in the hands and breathe an oil in. It goes right in, rides through the nose up into the brain and back into the limbic brain, where we have all kind of past history and our worry, our fight or flight, and all that emotions that stir up. And it helps us to settle in a moment and with a moment's notice. So that is something that I never really leave home without. I have a couple of, and I rotate them, favorite oils in my handbag, along with my sanitizing spray that is an immune boost as well when I kind of travel around. So that would be kind of an overview that I'm handing to you, Andrea, and see what kind of you want to tease out a little bit more out of from there.
You know, this is exactly. First of all, I have to say that while I'm doing this in my diffuser, I have three essential oils going. I have rosemary because that tends to keep my brain very clear, and I have peppermint, and I have lavender. The peppermint is just very uplifting for me, and the lavender is very soothing, and so I have that going. But the other thing you mentioned about the digestive health, a friend of mine who was very interested in all kinds of alternative health, including Ayurvedic medicine, told me that his medical doctor said if that everybody needs a few basic things. One is a digestive enzyme, especially as we get older, because we, excuse me, we don't produce as many enzymes, and they need an omega-3, and I forget what the third one was, but I know that those are crucial, and that was something you mentioned. It's all the things that help develop our immune system. So I think the digestive enzymes and the omega-3s are just, they're sort of fundamental to to our health.
And even for us women, we've often heard of heart health being more of a masculine issue, but we women need to support our circulatory system and our hearts. And the omegas are, and the balance. You mentioned omega-3. We they are harder for us to get through our food source, so that is a critical add-on for that reason. And it's as well the balance between the 6, 9, and 3s, and ideally having them both land-based and sea-based, which is present in the omega oil here from doTERRA that we're talking about, and that we have chosen to take ourselves because of their testing, safety, and the fact that they are highly bioavailable. You don't want to, like we've heard, kind of the negative vibe on supplements that, hey, they are not able to be absorbed through the body. So we want to have, again, a baseline. I like to come back to that aspect so that we can then use the food and top it off with what we personally individually may need a little more of, depending on our age, our lifestyle, and what else is going on. So that is where the omega oils come in, and the minerals and the vitamins.
Right.
And the third component is extra support from botanicals and essential oils for cellular health, and to keep our cells young and vibrant.
Right.
That is the idea. So yeah, good kind of focus there on your part.
Yeah, I know that some people say, oh, you should just get all your nutrients from the food, but I think we all know how depleted our soils are, particularly in the United States. I know that in some other countries, there hasn't been so much destruction of the agricultural, nutrients in our soil. So I just think it's a smart thing to have a few supplements. You don't have to overdo it. It can be a fairly simple group, but the consistency, especially as we get older, is important. And if your body is not absorbing the nutrients that are in the food, um, then you can eat the best food in the world and nothing will happen. So that's why those digestive enzymes and the additional omega-3s are so important. But this whole thing about food brings up an important point because so many of my readers internationally have told me that during the lockdowns, they've put on a fair amount of weight. They're
Mm-hmm.
not getting the exercise they used to. And with the anxiety and the frustration, they're eating a lot of comfort foods that are fine for once in a while, but on a, on a regular basis, they're just putting on a lot of weight. So I know that there's something in the products that you and I like from doTERRA because they're so careful about testing all the ingredients. And I know, you know, I, I've been following a lot of Ayurvedic medicine and other natural medicine, but there are a lot of toxins in some some of the products that, like I read recently that in some of the turmeric that comes from, I think it's not from India, it's near there, that they used fillers in it that are extremely toxic to give it more volume. But it's so dangerous. And so I love the fact that doTERRA does all, you mentioned earlier that they do so much testing, but you said that there is something that doTERRA offers for well, I won't say weight reduction, although I'm sure it helps with weight reduction, but I think it's called Slim and Sassy. And is it one product or is it a group of products
It's
or?
actually a combination of oils
Oh,
so as an essential oil, and there is the choice as well to take it as a soft gel. So instead of the essential oil, it comes as a soft gel, and it is in a family, so a group for sure. There is a protein powder, and
oh,
there's a vegetarian or vegan rather protein powder with that same concept. So if we are in that situation that we feel like, okay, I am choosing to eat, it can often be a little more of emotional eating when there's so much stress and we are not as much hanging out with each other, etc., etc. So adding on kind of some bad habits, if you will. So the protein powders and some of these other in the family of the Slim and Sassy could be really helpful to help with the satiety and set up a very simple program to incorporate them. And if we want to just make it something that we all looking ahead here for the holidays, however we are going to spend them, having Slim and Sassy handy can be, it's a yummy citrusy power tool. I can put it right under my tongue, but I highly recommend exploring it in the
breathe
hand
it
and
in.
breathing, and certainly in the diffuser, but even putting a drop and doing a little bit of a lick, kind of the stuff that we all did as kids with certain things that I'm not going to mention the names of, and more candy and more sugar like. But a drop here, and then just lick it, and it's satisfying. An additional way that I love to use it is putting a couple of 2-3 drops in a small amount, maybe even half a teaspoon of coconut butter. So pure organic raw coconut butter. That the fat of the coconut butter, which is really healthy in small amounts and has many properties that are good for us, and adding the Slim and Sassy, it's like a treat. It's like a little mini yummy dessert. Test it and see if you agree. I've introduced many people that actually love it. And if you take that when you feel, I would love to have a little this or that, something that you may not really think that it would be as good, having a glass of water with a couple of drops, drinking, sipping slowly, and adding the treat of coconut butter with a couple of drops. Those two are great additional tools. And then at the end here, I think we're offering a little surprise. So for you, Shannon and Lisa, individually, it may be some aspects that would fit really in with your lifestyle, but we can talk a little bit more of that personally. But those two tools are or do those two ways to use Sim and Sassy, and knowing that there are other parts of that family that can be uh, easy to use and have a huge impact, and maintaining weight. So when you said what you did about losing weight, we often need some incentives there, but then maintaining the weight so that it's not something that has to be a struggle. I'm a firm believer of adding good things, adding good habits, and the habits that we're not so keen to have in our life, they tend to kind of fall off to the wayside when we treat our bodies respectfully and we're not asking too much. We're kind of incorporating what we want to support ourselves with, both mentally and physically.
I love the way you put that. um, you know, but I know for me personally, that if I'm feeling if I'm having anxiety hunger, I like to chew something, and I
Mhm.
vaguely remember that Slim and Sassy also comes in a chewing gum, is that right?
Yes, there is a chewing gum. I have to admit that I haven't looked at that lately, but I know that
It's
that I used to have that here myself. So good reminder. We can get back and check that out.
well, I just there's something about the textural thing of, chewing on something, so
Okay.
I thought that's a good idea. And then thank you for mentioning that we have a little kind of a gift that we're going to give people after the recording is over, those who stick around, and we'll do some personal Q&A with them. Um, so let's talk a little bit about gifting. So those things we can help for ourselves, and there's so many of the essential oils that I consider a great gift. But talk a little bit about some of maybe the introductory kits that you might want to give to somebody, or of course they're saying nobody should travel now, but hopefully when this month is over, people will be traveling more, because I think that one of the, we used to call airplanes the petri dish, because you get on an airplane and you don't know what's been sterilized. Now everybody's so paranoid that they're sterilizing everything, which is fantastic. And I hope they keep that up after the pandemic is over. But I know that there's a couple of things. There's like a little bit of an introductory kit that you might give to somebody, and then there's a travel kit that you might give to somebody. So can you talk a little bit? And then there's also an athlete's kit, which I love, because I hope we're going to be able to go out and go back to the gyms and get some more exercise. But maybe we could talk a little bit about those things that people might be interested in giving as gifts.
That is the end. The fact that we can actually put together anything that fits the person that we have in mind. And even as we're sitting here talking, there's often somebody that we can think of that, oh yeah, such and such has is prone to headaches or has an issue with sugar and eating maybe a little bit more. I heard her say last time. So things like that can be individualized to a little kit that will fit the person specifically. But as you mentioned,
Okay.
Andrea, there are kits as well that are constructed. And if the person is not yet being a customer in doTERRA and in the family, having the ability to order stuff when you want to, because there's a membership that is available, and one can, as a customer, order products anytime. And the first time when you are entering the doTERRA family, you can select from a bunch of kits that have been put together to make it a little easier to step in where it feels right to the person's lifestyle, and to do that with a discount and at the best price point.
So it
So
could be
there are.
very individualized.
Right. And I like that. And individualized can sometimes be where will I start? But it's simple with a few questions to direct ourselves to a baseline and to get into beginning, coming back to that point of adding some extra good healthy habits and allowing those that were not as happy to maintain, kind of dissipate on their own, if you will. And there is a healthy habits kit that I would highly recommend, that it includes the supplements, and it has a great addition for anything that is more relating to tension and pain that we may get sitting in front of the computer, or headaches, what have you. It's a cream called Deep Blue that you can use locally. I think we talked about that, you and I, Andrea, and you have had some good relief from that.
I
And
agree.
it contains the digestive enzymes as well. And another super product that I could talk at length about. It's a pro and prebiotic that, in addition, can be super helpful for the gut when we are during stress, especially, and can be incorporated in the supplement program really easy. So this all comes together with a few of the more common essential oils, if you will, like
Mhm.
lemon that I invite everyone to use in their water, especially the first water in the morning, to help alkalize the body and to break the fast of the evening and to augment the digestive juices just in that sweet spot in the morning when we don't have any other food in the stomach. So a great way to begin the day. And then there are a few other of the oils that we want to have on hand, like frankincense and balance, just like the name gives away, balance, grounding, settling, and lavender on the same note.
I love
So they
lavender.
are all in the Healthy Habits Kit, which is a good beginning point, starting with supplements and adding on a few essential oils, and make that into a protocol daily that fits in with what we're already are doing. So it's not adding more on our to-do list, but instead we're incorporating these healthy habits as kind of a tag along to when we're having breakfast, when we're having our water in the morning, etc., when we have lunch and or dinner, something along those lines, so it's easy to fit in. Because the last thing we need is more, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to remember that.
Right.
So making it easy to say yes to, and easy for both the body and the mind to be satisfied and to feel nurtured and receive self-care in that way.
You mentioned the things that are in the Healthy Habits kit, and I have a lot of those oils, but you just sort of quickly ran through frankincense.
Yes.
And we're all, around
Yeah.
Christmas time, we think about frankincense, but I'm hearing more and more lately about the power of frankincense. Why would they put frankincense in? I mean, I understand that it has a lot of healing properties. Why do you think they included that in the Healthy Habits kit? Because I know that it's one of the, I mean, considering what's in that kit, this is a great price. But it on its own, it tends to be expensive. Why did they include the frankincense in the Healthy Habits kit? Do you know?
Frankincense is referred to as the king of oil, and it is an oil that almost everybody has heard about because it goes back to ancient times.
Right.
There was a reason it was brought to the baby Jesus, as we are in December, because both myrrh and frankincense that were brought to the stable at that time, those oils were precious. They were precious and were only oils that were accessible to certain people, basically kings and queens. And they are highly healing. So they were put on the navel, it was basically to help this little child that was born in a major, and they bought those aspects as offerings. So I like that kind of as a background to know how long ago this miracle of frankincense, if we stick with that for the moment. And there's been a lot of research over the years because it's one of the oils that goes through the blood-brain barrier. So that is something that science is very interested in because it's hard to get something into our brain and through that barrier. So one tool and how I use frankincense, one drop on my thumb, and I put that right at the roof of the mouth, getting the oil as close to my brain as possible. And under the tongue, a couple of drops for the same reason, close to the brain. It, in other words, has an aspect of cellular support that is phenomenal, and as well helping with the inflammatory system to support inflammatory response in the body. So that is one of the most essential oils, and it has the aspect to augment whatever else we do that is good. So if I take other essential oils, and as we discussed here, the supplements, and adding frankincense, it augments the positive effect
Mm.
of everything else that I do. So often we talk with oils about
Right.
layering being using several of the oils for different reasons in different order. And frankincense is one of the oils in a layering that augments the effect. So in that, what is it? We often say that when you do actually, I'm not going to botch it up, but you get the point. So that is the power of frankincense. And I could not, for the life of it, I could talk about so many of the oils that I love and hear myself repeat that again and again. But if I absolutely was stranded on a deserted island and were only able to have one oil, frankincense would without a doubt be the number one.
Yeah, I think in and of itself, aside from the Healthy Habits Kit, which altogether I think is fabulous, but I think in and of itself, that would be a fabulous gift to give somebody for Christmas, especially somebody who understands the symbology of it. I mean, the symbolism of it. So yeah, just that on its own would be a great gift to somebody.
Good point. And is staying on that note with something specific to someone that we're thinking of, anybody and everybody could use frankincense.
Yeah.
And then to go in the completely opposite direction, staying with the same truths of will benefit, we could just mention to have kind of a balance. Frankincense has a little bit more of a price point, and there are so many people that we think of that we would be able to budget a little more. And then there are others that we may just want to gift something that is from the heart and it's not so heavy on the pocketbook. And lemon essential oil, all the citrus oils, they're cold pressed from the skin, from the rind of the citrus fruit. So it is a very different process. You get more yield. Even in a 15 milliliter bottle of lemon oil, you use 45 lemons, about 45 to between 40 and 50 to be have a little bit more of a spectrum of that. Wine is in a bottle, and there's about 240 drops, and that is $10.50. I think that is a gift that I would just give
Absolutely.
to many people. Putting a couple of drops in water in the morning, it is great in the diffuser. It's on top of the aspects that I mentioned, alkalizing, great for the gut, a very gentle detox. It helps with focus. It helps with taking away stuff like you talked about chewing gum.
Mhm.
I got gum at the seat of my car, and I remember, oh yeah, lemon. So I know that it works. You pour it on, and you can just scrape off the gum, and it goes for other greasy things. It's great to clean. I'll stop there. But that is the beauty of something as simple as lemon essential oil.
Well, and I think not just that, but I know that in the introductory kit, they have those little 5 millimeter bottles. I left it over there. And you can get one of lavender, one of lemon, and one of peppermint.
Yes.
And those are three that I use every day, practically every day. In fact, if I go to bed a little bit too late and I've gone to bed past that point where after 10 p.m. where I really should doze off, I put just a couple of drops of lavender oil on a cotton ball, and I put it next to on my bedside table, and
Mhm.
just breathing that in, I'm out. So and that's the introductory kit, and I think that's like 26, $27. I think it's fantastic. And then I'm just looking, so I made some notes for myself too. The travel kit is the lemon because that's going to help you every day. And wild orange, I don't know why wild orange, and peppermint aroma touch. So, and I think that's the aroma touch is the one you can roll on actually on your skin. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's referred to as the massage oil
Uh,
because it has a lot of the essential oils that are great for muscles, joints, and it's the sister. I see it as the sister because it's a little more feminine, a little bit lighter than deep blue. That
oh,
would be Big Brother. So that is the heavy duty with the winter greens, and they are real um, the heavier notes with aroma touch. The combination is some of the oils that are, I just heard actually earlier, something that was really cool. Marjoram is in an oil used in massage, and it used to be used to tenderize meat. And that stuck to my mind because I thought, okay, well, we can all use our imagination. Maybe that was an example that worked really well for me. But thinking about some tense muscles and softening of that naturally with some of the herbs, basil, marjoram. There's so many of them that actually together are fantastic. So that is a good example. Aroma touch, massage oil, a blend that synergistically works so well together, beautifully combined, and fantastic when we just need a little self massage on the shoulders, or that there's any part of our body on our joints that are bothering us after workout, and even as a pre workout hiking or what have you.
yeah, I love you know I'm when I signed up, I think it's very inexpensive to sign up to be a doTERRA. You get big discounts on everything if you sign up to be a doTERRA customer. Uh, or to go another step. But what I love is the literature they sent you because first of all, it's so physically beautiful. And since I'm, every all the work I do has to do with visuals. I love the fact that they have all the pictures of the oils, and then they describe what they do and what they're for, and then they have uh, the combination oils, so you get an idea of which ones work, as you said, synergistically.
Mhm.
But I just love the fact that the materials are so beautiful. So that's just completely aside. That's my thing.
I would
Anyway, I think we might be getting close to time. I haven't looked at, oh, it's getting late. Yeah.
And I would like to toss in just briefly to what you talked about, the aesthetics and the beauty of the brochures and information. The work, extending it to the physical plane, the mission of doTERRA and what doTERRA is able to do in the world with the farmers that we're collaborating and co-creating with, source source impacting and making sure that the products are not only safe and pure and well tested, but they are sustainably produced. And that includes at the forefront, and I can't underscore what I feel from a heart perspective, how right it is to work with the people around the world. In this case, many are indigenous people.
That's
And
right.
learn from them and offer some of the Western. So it becomes a real symbiotic relationship that is satisfying, and that's what co-impact sourcing is. And there's a nonprofit Healing Hands Foundation that works not predominantly with women, but with women in many parts of the world. I'm thinking of Kenya in particular,
Beautiful.
and parts of the world where women, when they get up to a certain age, they will be more or less ostracized in school because of the fact that there are not even sanitary napkins, etc. So a lot of these aspects that I think are kind of the future of doing business. If we're going to go out into the world, we need to be part of a symbiotic relationship of respect and teaching and learning from each other. We have so much to learn from people around the world, and we have some good habits here in the West that we can share. So the Terra has really taken the lead in that. And I love that every drop I use, there's an energetic connection with that intention.
Yeah, I love the fact that they have such a socially responsible view when they work with so many people in what we call the third world, and so many of these farming processes to help them. It's helping them economically. It's saving their and is doing agriculturally appropriate gathering of these herbs and these spices. So I just feel so comfortable recommending them on so many levels. Anyway, I don't want to take all your time because I know your time is very precious, and that has something to do with the gift what we're going to offer. So we're going to turn off the recording now because some of the guests might want to talk about their own personal things, and we don't want that to be all over Facebook. But I want to encourage the ladies to stay online because we're going to do a private Q&A, and we have something special to offer you. So Agneta, I am so grateful to you once again for your knowledge and your generosity in sharing it. And thank you once again for coming. Let's end the recording here and then let's talk with some of our guests.